Hello, everyone. My name is David Targett. I am one of the graduate assistants in the Office of Gift Planning this school year, and I have with us today Mr. Rob Cote, who is going to be our first participant in our McCallen Spotlight series. How are you today, Mr. Rob Cote?
I'm great, David. How are you?
Awesome. So to get us started, I was hoping you could kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and kind of why you chose St. John's University.
It's a great question. So my name is Rob Cody, and I came to St. John's from upstate New York. I grew up about 2 hours outside of the city, and really knew in high school that I wanted to go to school in New York. I definitely was drawn to that to a city type lifestyle
Right.
as a high school student. Looked at a bunch of different schools. Kind of thought that maybe leaving New York could be a possibility. Looked at Providence and some schools in Boston, but really my heart was certainly in New York. So actually, I looked at St. John's right before my senior year of high school,
Mhm.
and there was kind of that sense of home as soon as I came onto campus,
Right.
and I know that. I knew it was for me. It didn't take long on that first visit. Ironically, I was not with my parents on that first visit. My grandparents took me to St. John's that summer, and I had to come back with my parents to make sure they saw it as well. So I came back for open house,
Mhm.
and by then I kind of knew that that was the direction I wanted to go. And fortunately, the everything else lined up. I
Right.
was excited to get a great scholarship to come to St. John's, and things really landed in place uh, to to bring me there, and I haven't left Queens since. I've been in Queens ever since. Um, so I graduated in 2010, and I then worked at the university
Mhm.
for about 5.5 years, and then left the university finally after about a decade to continue my career. And I at the time studied psychology.
Mhm.
Didn't know where I wanted to go with that. I actually started in Tobin as a business major, switched to psychology, and my career has kind of taken off since then. I've landed in development myself, so I do fundraising and alumni relations, and for me that was that combination of business and people. So it made sense for me, and my experiences at St. John's, both as a student and professionally, have prepared me for where my life has taken me in the decade or so since.
Right. And one of the things you said there was that when you first visited St. John's, it kind of felt like home to you.
Mm.
And I mean, I felt the same way when I visited, was it 5 years ago now? But I had my parents with me.
It goes
So
fast.
I didn't have to bring them back for a second visit. So they got the home feeling as
It
well.
was worth coming back for a second visit.
Right.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Um, so now you've left St. John's, you're in your career now. And so you become a McCallen member. Can you tell us a little about why you decided to become a McCallen member so early, as opposed to what most people think, that people become McCallen members when they're closer to retirement?
Yeah, I tend to be a bit of a nerd, and when I receive HR paperwork at a new job, I don't just sign it blindly and whatever happens happens. I took time to read it and ask a lot of questions, and one of the forms when I was working at St. John's at the time was to name a beneficiary for your 403b, which is the nonprofit version of a 401k. And um, and that was really when I started to look into, well, what does that mean to leave someone as a beneficiary,
Mhm.
and it defaults to certain members of your family, but there are real benefits to naming a charity, a school, as a beneficiary. So that was when I first really started to look into it.
Mhm.
And again, I was very, very fortunate to kind of be in the business enough to know what was going on,
Right.
and to know that was an opportunity to um, cement a future legacy at St. John's, which has meant so much to me. And knowing that tomorrow's not promised for anyone, and knowing that if something tragic was to happen tomorrow or 10 years from now or 50 years from now, that my legacy's started to be in place. It's certainly not perfect and not 100% there, but
Right.
the ball is rolling for that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's really awesome to hear. And then to kind of finish it off on a more fun note, or on a fun note, not a more fun note. If everyone knows who Susan Damiani is, the director of the McCallen Society and the Office of Gift Planning. If she were to come to you and give you the task of recruiting a potential McCallen member, how would you go about doing so, and what do you think you would do to convince them to become one?
So that's an ironic question, since that's sort of what I do in my life. I am a fundraiser, so it is a conversation I have with people. But specifically for St. John's and the McCallen Society, I think I would encourage people to think beyond today or tomorrow, and really challenge them to think about impact and legacy on a larger level. And if it's a younger person, I would say, like, this is your opportunity to make a future impact when you may not be able to make an impact today. I hope that young alums are supporting alma mater and making a gift. Giving Tuesday is coming up. This may air after Giving Tuesday, but it's a season of giving, certainly Thanksgiving and into Christmas and end of year. And those $100, $200, $500, $1,000 gifts are important to institutions. Future gifts that you can make through different avenues, such as a 401k or a 403b, are ways of really starting to cement that impact and legacy early on. And I encourage my peers who are closer to my age bracket to do their homework and really look into what the tax implications are, and ask experts what that means, because we all get hit with taxes, and we know that, but there are ways to do certain financial vehicles in such a way that will be beneficial to you, and also beneficial to charities. And I think that's, for me, one of the things that as a student at St. John's, I learned very, very early on, because I did have the opportunity as a student to be with alumni and donors, specifically in my time in the President's Society. So you meet donors and you start to hear their stories and learn why they did what they did, and stories about major CEOs and CFOs getting a retirement bonus and being able to sign millions of dollars over to the university,
Right.
getting a name or a building or a school named after them, and the impact that has on generations of students. But for that person, the immediate, the tax benefits, so it's nice to have that combination of the feel good, the huge impact that you can have on future generations of students, with the financial impact on your own wallet and your own taxes.
Right. And it sounds like you might as well kill two birds with one stone.
Absolutely.
That was very well put. I hope some of the younger alumni get an opportunity to see that, because that was really very well put. And there are obviously a ton of benefits, both financially and just personally from certain things. But that was great. I just wanted to thank Mr. Cote for being our first McCallen Spotlight. I know everyone who watches it will enjoy, so thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, David.